Ladies and gentlemen, Kendrick Lamar cannot stop breaking records. Yeah. Numbers wise, what? You're not creeping? No, he creeping up. Yeah. Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show is officially the most watched performance ever. One more time for the people in the back, for the racists in the back, and the upset OVO Stan accounts. Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl halftime show is officially the most watched performance ever. 133.5 million viewers. It surpasses Michael Jackson.
Kendrick Lamar came out. Word to my mother. If anybody was there, y'all knew it was. Y'all knew it. Y'all felt it. Crowd was making no noise. This is me being honest. I was there. The loudest times that they made, the loudest time that the crowds did was, I think, him being shown for the first time, SZA, Samuel Jackson being shown for the first time, and then They Not Like Us. Now, I honestly feel like some of the songs he should have switched out for more. You feel me? For like another song or some shit. Like there's some songs on there that I was like, damn, he could have switched that out for like this. This would have been fire here. This would have fire been there, right? But one thing I will say though, although the vibes was not good, crowd was not good. I don't even think like, bro, like they were just not fucking with the performance. Like up until They Not Like Us. But what I will say is the symbolism behind that performance was top tier. I paid attention to like the set. Okay, oh my God, they add sound effects to the NFL shit. Oh my fucking God. All right, so right here, there was no sound. I just heard crowd sounds. All my life right here, there was no sounds. Fuck, they add crowd effects? I did not know that.
Kendrick Lamar in the Super Bowl. I'm not done with this topic yet. Super Bowl halftime show allegedly had more viewers than the game itself. That's never happened before. Is this the biggest lie ever sold? Kendrick Lamar's fake Super Bowl viewership numbers? I'll let you make up your own mind. The NFL, this is the news here, the NFL and Rock Nation and their media allies, they want us to believe that Kendrick Lamar's halftime show was the most watched of all time, pulling in, according to them, 133.5 million viewers, more than Michael Jackson, more than Prince, more than the Super Bowl itself, which averaged 127.7 million viewers. As a side note, this is going to cause a problem. We're off the rails, but I'm not the biggest Prince fan. Prince is very talented, has some good songs, but I'm just not, and I've never been the person to say, oh, I want to listen to some Prince right now. But I know he has a lot of fans. There was a debate online yesterday about the Beatles, and I love the Beatles. I was kind of surprised a lot of people hating on the Beatles, but the Rolling Stones, there's always that debate. I like them both. But as far as the numbers for the Super Bowl viewership, Kendrick Lamar was not the Beatles. He was not the Rolling Stones. People didn't know this dude.
I watched the Super Bowl, and, more than anything, I just don't really. I was at the Super Bowl party at a restaurant, at a bar, and it was all white people, and you should have seen it. It was dead. Everybody was sitting. It was all like white old boomers, and everybody was like this. This is how every white person in the room was sitting, seeing the Kendrick. Nobody knew who he was. Some like middle-aged woman turned around to me and said, "Do you know who that is? Do you guys know who that is?" She says to me. She goes, "Do you know who this person singing is?" And we're like, "That's Kendrick Lamar." She's like, "Oh, thanks. I thought you guys would know who that is." That was the reaction in the stadium. Nobody was dancing. Nobody, 20 years ago when they had like Sting, when they had Prince, and it's not even a racial thing because everybody loves Prince. 20 years ago, it was Sting, when it was Prince, Justin Timberlake. People actually knew the songs. There was a monoculture. Everybody knew the same songs. That it was for white people and black people. It wasn't some racial fucking diatribe.
The problem here is I think the numbers are a lie. That's my opinion. I'm entitled to my opinion. The way they counted viewership changed right before the Super Bowl. Surprise! Streaming numbers came from what I would call suspicious sources. And if Michael Jackson's performance had been measured in the same way, even if you're going to take the numbers, he would still hold the record by a mile. You remember Michael Jackson back when we kind of had a shared culture and there was an artist big enough where we all pretty much knew the songs and all pretty much liked at least a handful of them? But this wasn't just about lying about TV ratings. This was a manufactured, in my opinion, probably, supposedly manufactured headline designed to push, wait for it, another narrative. The numbers appeared to be manipulated to create the illusion that this was the biggest, so they could make that claim. Jay-Z and Rock Nation. Jay-Z's got a lot going on right now to make that claim because he chose Kendrick for the halftime show, that this was the biggest halftime show ever. It might have been the blackest. I mean, you try real hard to be black. That makes anybody who tries so hard to be black or white or whatever, yeah, you look a little sus to me. The Super Bowl itself had fewer viewers than previous years, yet somehow Kendrick Lamar's numbers increased. Explain that to me. Out-of-home viewership was counted differently for the first time. That added millions of people conveniently that were never counted before. The streaming numbers from Tubi don't add up, almost doubling previous records overnight. If Michael Jackson's 1993 halftime show had been measured using today's methods, his real numbers, I think, would have been much higher. So that's my case that this was engineered. That's my case. Here's the evidence that I've been looking at and reading. For Kendrick Lamar's halftime show to be the most watched ever, two things had to happen. One, more people had to watch his performance than any other in history. Two, the measurement had to be fair. You mean consistent to the past. Neither of these are true. The Super Bowl itself, as I stated, had fewer viewers. According to Nielsen, Super Bowl 59 averaged 127.7 million viewers. Historically, halftime shows don't outdraw the game, not on average. Even in Michael Jackson's 1993 classic show, the biggest of all time, that the halftime numbers did not surpass the game's total average audience. Yet suddenly, Kendrick Lamar, someone that you could go out on the street and go find you a pale-skinned person and tell me how many it takes before they know who Kendrick Lamar is. Yet suddenly, Kendrick Lamar's performance gained an extra 5.8 million viewers out of nowhere. According to Yahoo Sports, this is the first time in Super Bowl history that a halftime show outperformed the game itself. If this is true, it would be an anomaly at best case scenario, an event that's never happened before in the 58 previous Super Bowls. Let's look at the way viewership was counted conveniently. Variety reported that out-of-home viewership, people watching in bars, restaurants, Super Bowl parties, was now included in every U.S. state for the first time. Previously, out-of-home viewership only counted in 44 media markets. Hawaii and Alaska were not included in the past Super Bowl ratings, but were suddenly added this year. Michael Jackson's 1993 viewership did not include out-of-home numbers. If Jackson's show had been measured like this, his numbers would have been far higher. You remember when we all used to go out and stuff? According to Nielsen, out-of-home viewership can add 30 to 40% more viewers to an NFL broadcast. Why do you think they would want to move Michael Jackson from the top-viewed Super Bowl? What did Michael Jackson say about certain people? And what did Michael Jackson wear? You could say he was yay before yay when it came to that topic. On record, literally. Moving on. I'm going to say this isn't a true record. It's a recalibration of what counts as a viewer. Streaming on Tubi, the record numbers are inflated figures. The 2020 Super Bowl was available for free on Tubi. This is Fox's ad-supported streaming platform. This decision created a massive spike in streaming viewership. So according to Digital Music News, 13.6 million people supposedly watched the game via Tubi alone. The previous Super Bowl streaming record was 7 million. That means Tubi's audience nearly doubled the streaming total in just 1 year. It's possible. It kind of stinks, though. Sports Business Journal noted that Tubi had never carried a major live sports event before. Does that add up to you? Where all those extra viewers come from? Even ABC News questioned the sudden spike in streaming, noting that many of these numbers came from a free service that had never been tested at this scale. So don't take my word for it. It gets worse. According to Parks Associates, Fox's internal projections for Super Bowl streaming were around 14.5 million viewers. The final number? 133.5 million total, just enough to beat Michael Jackson's record by 0.1 million, 100,000 people. Michael Jackson's 1993 halftime show has long been the gold standard. He came on the stage and made you wait for it. Rest in peace to Michael Jackson. Made you wait for it and wait for it before the beat dropped, before the show started, when we had showmanship. Not Kendrick Lamar surrounded by 100 and dancing around, bending over their backs because they're victims. Michael Jackson's 133.4 million viewers were counted under the old methodology without out of home. So if we added in, if streaming existed then with the out of home viewing, by today's standards, some outlets are saying it'd be about 150. We'll say Michael was probably going to be at about 150. Yet media outlets are parodying the line that Kendrick Lamar, broke the record. According to ABC 27 News, Jackson's 133.4 million was achieved in an era without social media, streaming, or today's inflated measurement tactics. Lamar's so-called record is a numbers trick. It's not an actual achievement. Why would they even do this? Why am I even questioning this? Why does it matter? I just find it interesting that Rock Nation and that's Jay-Z's parent company, had produced the Super Bowl halftime show since 2019. I also found it interesting that there hasn't been a black that I've seen touch the stage, backup dancer or otherwise. Somebody correct me if you know otherwise. Going back to 2025, 2024 was that the Usher one? Then Beyonce had the halftime show. There wasn't a black on stage. I believe there wasn't one for Usher. And then there was the one before that as well. Who was that? I forget who that was. So there wasn't a black on the stage since 2023, basically. For Usher, it was Rihanna. So the last time we saw a white person on the stage at the Super Bowl, the halftime show, was Eminem. And remember that year in 2022, which was a good show. I thought that was a great show. Much better than this one because it spanned more people. Eminem famously took a BLM knee. So it's almost as if you're making a statement. I think that's pretty clear, Jay-Z and Rock Nation. So in order for that statement to land, because this one's getting pushed back, because you could tell even people didn't know the symbolism, they could tell this wasn't for them because he's saying, you're not like him. They're not like us. That's not a Drake diss. It's they, them. I'll save that for another live, but they need the story to fit. According to Citizen Digital, Rock Nation immediately pushed the narrative that Kendrick Lamar's show broke the record. They're the ones that pushed the narrative. Smart. Sportskeeda reported that Rock Nation turned off Instagram comments after fans accused them of lying. Things that make you go, Essentially, Sports noted that fans slammed Jay-Z's company for exaggerating the numbers. Washington Times confirmed that Usher's 2024 halftime show drew 129.3 million viewers under the same system. So why did Lamar suddenly jump millions higher? There's a clear incentive for the NFL, Rock Nation, and Fox Sports to control the narrative and manufacture a record-breaking event. Remember, this was I think it was anti-white. It was anti-Trump for sure. He dissed Trump on the stage. So they needed that to stick. The media didn't scrutinize the numbers. They ran with the headline, Lamar breaks record, Michael Jackson's record. It wasn't about accuracy. It was about creating that story. The numbers were counted differently. Michael Jackson's performance was better, way better, more artistic, more talented, would have had more numbers. This wasn't history. This was public relations, and they did a good job of it. That's why I decided to do a live to just counter it with me and my tens of viewers. We will counter the narrative. I don't give a damn if it's just me. The most watched halftime show ever was a headline, not a fact. Like, comment, subscribe.
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.